And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Wednesday, April 24th. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. New on 12 Now, Bonham residents, be aware the city is asking you to conserve water today. According to the city's Facebook page, the North Texas Municipal Water District will be performing maintenance at the Bonham water plant. Now that means the plant will be offline most of the day. Citizens are asked to be mindful of their water usage until the plant is back on. President Joe Biden has signed a bill that could lead to a nationwide ban on TikTok. The bill was part of a $95 billion war aid measure that includes aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan that the Senate approved last night. The legislation calls for TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, to sell TikTok within 270 days or risk being banned on app stores and networks nationwide. About 170 million Americans use the app. Supporters argue the law is necessary to protect American security and personal data. TikTok has said it plans to go to court to overturn the law. A 47-year-old McKinney man pardoned today by President Biden. Jason Hernandez was convicted of several nonviolent drug offenses for conduct that began while he was still a juvenile. A White House press release states Hernandez was rehabilitated in prison and says with changes in laws, had he been convicted today, he would have received a much shorter sentence. He now runs a nonprofit in McKinney at the store where he used to sell drugs. It's now a market that provides quality and affordable food. A clear alert was put out this afternoon out of Weatherford, Texas. 50-year-old Steffanie Drake was last seen around 8 a.m. in the 400 block of West Lee Avenue. It is believed by authorities that she is in imminent danger. Take a good look at this picture here, Texoma. If you see her, call Weatherford Police Department. A warning for Americans traveling to the Caribbean after an Oklahoma man was arrested in Turks and Caicos. Airport security found bullets in Ryan Watson's luggage, which he says he brought by mistake. The territory enacted strict new laws with a mandatory minimum prison sentence of 12 years for carrying guns or ammunition. His wife was reunited with her family yesterday, but he is still overseas and has a bail hearing today. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
Valerie Watson's return to Oklahoma was emotional. The mother of two is home after 10 days in legal limbo, but without her husband Ryan.
Just to get to hold my babies.
He is in jail in Turks and Caicos facing a potential mandatory minimum sentence of 12 years behind bars over 4 rounds of hunting ammo airport security found in his carry-on bag as the couple were set to travel home April 12th.
This went from what was supposed to be a dream vacation to a nightmare.
We spoke with the Watsons Sunday before they learned Valerie would not be charged and could return home.
How do you forget that there are bullets in your bag?
The best of my knowledge, have to assume that it happened while taking a trip to Texas to hunt deer.
Brian Hegridge from Pennsylvania is awaiting trial after ammo was found in his checked bag in February.
I subsequently spent 8 nights in their local jail, some of the darkest, hardest times of my life, quite frankly.
Possessing ammunition is prohibited in Turks and Caicos. However, tourists were often able to pay a fine until a February court order mandating even tourists leaving the country are subject to prison time. That includes at least 8 Americans.
The judge's sentencing was completely predicated on the fact that I was an American.
That judge found Michael Grimm from Indiana had exceptional circumstances when he pleaded guilty to accidentally having ammo in his checked bag last year, but sent him to this prison for more than 5 months anyway, hoping to send a message to other tourists.
No clean running water. You're kind of exposed to the environment 24/7. Mosquitoes and tropical illnesses are a real concern.
Last September, the U.S. Embassy warned, check your luggage for stray ammunition because we will not be able to secure your release from custody.
I just so desperately want to be back with my son and my daughter. I want to hold them and let them know that this was just an honest mistake.
A mistake landing American tourists visiting an island paradise in a potential prison hell. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News.
Well, turning to weather now because we have a lot happening in the weather department for the next several days. Meteorologist Brian Briggs is joining us now. Brian, what can we be expecting for our Wednesday?
Yeah, we have a few showers and thunderstorms, at least so far through the morning. It's been kind of soggy, kind of muggy out there and a little warm. And that's kind of where we're going to be as we go through the rest of the day today. Notice that Max radar showing a few isolated showers and storms out there. And we actually have a little lightning strike popping up just to the north of Bonham now. So really not much to this. Just some isolated activity as we go through the rest of the day today. Kind of all associated with this weak little wave. And this is going to be the first of several that move through as we go through really the next several days, potentially as late as Monday of next week. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Unsettled pattern is here, and we actually have a multi-day severe weather potential on the way, and includes most of the weekend, if not all of it, too. So we'll talk about what to expect with that coming up here in just a little bit. At least the good news is, temperature-wise, we are expecting near seasonal conditions. So we'll break down the full forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Till then, back to you, Kylie.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, more than 100 protesters gathered outside Oklahoma's Capitol yesterday. They are upset about a new bill that the state's legislature passed and sent to the governor's desk on Tuesday. Now, it would allow local and state law enforcement to detain undocumented immigrants in the state. That's usually handled by federal officials. Now, this follows after Texas recently passed a similar law. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is expected to sign the bill into law. It's also expected a lawsuit will be filed to try to block it. Well, Super Bowl champion Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman Trophy back. The star running back for the University of Southern California was stripped of college football's highest honor in 2010. Bush won the award playing for the Trojans in 2005, but was ruled ineligible after an NCAA investigation. But as the times have changed with the new NIL rules, college athletes can now receive compensation for their name, image, and likeness. Not only will Bush get his trophy back, he will be invited to future Heisman Trophy ceremonies. Bush played 11 seasons in the NFL, helping to lead the New Orleans Saints to win Super Bowl 44. The Department of Transportation announcing new rules governing airlines that could save you money. The rules state you can get a refund for a canceled flight, and if you're delayed for more than 3 hours for a domestic flight or more than 6 hours for an international flight, you can get a refund if you choose not to fly. Now, when it comes to bag fees, they must be refunded if a checked bag is significantly delayed, and refunds must be given and any services paid for aren't provided, like broken Wi-Fi. Airlines are also now required to disclose fees they charge up front.
This is a big day for America's flying public. It represents the latest step, two steps, in fact, in our ongoing journey as the Department of Transportation under President Biden's leadership to deliver the biggest expansion of passenger rights in the department's history.
The new rules will be phased in over the next year. The DOT says it'll save consumers $500 million a year. It's been nearly 2 years since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, but once again, the justices are faced with a major dispute over abortion access. They heard arguments today on whether doctors in Idaho can be forced to perform the procedure in emergency situations, even though the state has a near total abortion ban. As Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports, the court's decision will have ripple effects across all states with abortion limits.
Pro-life is a lie. They don't care. People die. The right to an abortion is now up to the states, but the nation's highest court is weighing in once again. The question at hand Wednesday, can doctors in Idaho be forced to perform an abortion on pregnant women experiencing a medical emergency, despite the state's near total abortion ban?
If ER doctors can perform whatever treatment they determine is appropriate, then doctors can ignore not only state abortion laws, but also state regulations on opioid use and informed consent requirements.
The Biden administration says the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act requires physicians to give stabilizing treatments to patients experiencing a medical crisis, which could include an abortion.
Shouldn't matter where in America you live. This isn't about states' rights, it's about women's rights.
Idaho's law allows for abortions in rape or incest cases or when the mother's life, not just her health, is at risk. But some doctors say the law is too vague and are concerned about being criminally charged if the procedure is later deemed medically unnecessary. In a letter to the Supreme Court, 3 major medical groups write, when is it certain she will die but for medical intervention? How many blood units does she have to lose? 1, 2, 5? How low does her blood pressure have to be? But attorneys for Idaho claim this is an attempt by the Biden administration to undermine the Supreme Court's decision to return abortion rights to the states. Last month, the High Court also heard arguments over nationwide access to the abortion pill, mifepristone. Decisions on both cases are expected in June. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
That's all for this afternoon's News 12 Now. Thanks for joining and have a wonderful Wednesday.